Hello and welcome to the second part of the Hyperstrada 939 review. I've now done around 1400 miles and the bike is just about running, and even better, nothing has fallen off or gone weird. So has the initial new bike euphoria worn off? Absolutely not. The bike is simply brilliant and it's absolutely everything I need, and it's massive amounts of fun combined with practicality, and also it feels really safe. It's the first bike I've had with electronics, and being a bit of a northern Luddite, I was a little bit sceptical. But to be honest, and I'm not sure if I'm explicitly noticing the impact of the electronics or I just feel safe and secure knowing that they are there. I mean, last week I was whizzing around on some back roads and I did experience a little bit of a slide, but it was nothing to worry about. And the way the bike handled it was unreal. There was kind of a little slide, but then the transition to full grip and traction was just kind of all smooth, buttery and lovely. I just kept on the gas with no drama. In terms of the handling, the best way to get the best out of the bike is to ride the front wheel. You load it up, bury it into the corner, square it off and just squirt it out. If you've ever ridden a dirt bike, you'll know the first thing to do is you don't worry about the back end. Just get the front right and everything else will work out. Thing is though, I now really fancy a Hypermotard SP. So yes, it's my first Italian bike and the build quality is great, but there are things which look a little bit odd having come from, well packaged Japanese bikes. I mean, look at the engine cooler and look at all the odd little tubes and wires and stuff that's going on. The fuel cap is also a bit rubbish, and the material used for the neck of the petrol tank looks like it's come from an old tin bath or something. Still, it does the job and I don't look at it too much. The engine on the Hyperstrada is just a brilliant blend of, it's got enough power to have loads of fun, but it never seems to get hairy. It's so nice to be on a bike where you feel completely in control without having to be careful on the exit out of corners. And mine cruises happily at a steady 5,500 revs in top gear, which is about 85 miles an hour. And at that point I get just under 50 miles to the gallon. So the engine sounds great, it's very smooth. I've been running it in sport mode for the last month, and while that does mean that you get a bit of a hair trigger, it's just beautifully responsive. I love it. Now, normally I do a beer review, but I was feeling a little bit peckish today, so I've decided to review some cheese. The cheese in question is produced by a local company called Doddingtons, and it's a soft cheese made with unpasteurised milk, and it's washed with another local brew, which is Newcastle Brown Ale. And you know what? It's lovely. It's strong, it's pungent. It's got a bit of a farmyard and caramel thing going on about it, which I don't know if that sounds off-putting, but anyway, it's great. Anyway, back to the bike. Other stuff. The back brake is a bit ineffective and soft, and it does seem to deck out every so often, but the front brake is excellent. I've bumped up the preload on the rear suspension by a couple of clicks, which seems to further improve the steering. I still can't work out the panniers. Sometimes they lock on, sometimes they don't, and sometimes I just kind of have to yank them off or have a very, very strong word with them. Oh, and the heated grips are great. Once I got over the alien concept of pressing the starter motor when the engine is already running, they're really, really good. It just feels a little bit weird to me to press the starter motor button when the engine's already going. Anyway, so it's a tiny bike, but I'm 5'10". I'd like to think I was 5'11", but I'm not. So I'm 5'10", and while I can't move around much, I'm finding it really, really comfortable. And I'll be completely honest, I've not experienced any aches or pains. So, who is the bike for? Well, it's a Ducati, so for me that still means it's an exotic and rather special bike, so as a commuting tool, personally I feel it would be a bit of a waste. Although, it's perfectly capable of that. It's a brilliant, sporty, enthusiastic machine that's great for hooning around on, it's great for Spartan one-up touring, and it's everything that you love about bikes. It's frisky and it's fun, it's got an attitude, it kind of flatters your schools, it lets you get away with murder, lets you mess about, and it's fun. It makes me feel alive, and as I walk back to the bike I think, yeah, I'm going to ride that. So yeah, I love it to bits. And right now I'm about to pack and pair up some socks and head off to Europe on it. Just need to find my toothbrush. So hopefully I'll report about that later. In the meantime, I'm loving it. Cheery bye.